allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Roll call.
Heffley.
Here.
Henry.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Morrow.
Here.
Cole. Here. Crable.
Mr. President. Mr. Heffley. I ask that we excuse our councilman clerk. A motion and a second to excuse Mr. Crable. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those same sign. Motion carries. Approval minutes for June 3rd, 2013.
President, Mr. Morrow, I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2013.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those same sign. Motion carried. Election appointments, none. Special orders committees, none. Unfinished business, none. Brings us to petitions, communications.
Notice from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, a new license for Heath Community Arts Council, DBA Living Shea House, 301 Central Parkway, Eagle, Ohio, 43056. Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we not have a hearing on the petition for liquor control for the Davis Shea House.
Have a motion and a second to not request a hearing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion is carried.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we receive and file the petitions.
Have a motion and a second to receive the communications. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign. Motion carried. That brings us to the visitor section. And a visitor would like to speak, approach the podium, tell us your name and address, and tell us your concerns.
How you doing? My name is Scott Castro, and I'm calling or stopping out today from Traybell. Traybell is an energy consulting and brokerage firm, and I called in before to let people to let someone know that I'd be hopefully here today to speak, and I just wanted to go through some information before you and get your thoughts and feedback. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to pass this. I got 3 copies here, so I apologize. Have to share here. The primary reason, there are 2 things that I do for a number of villages and townships is government agency, basically looking at the electric and natural gas service on their facilities to save them money, and then secondly, the governmental aggregation. And so my first question to you would be, have you guys considered, or have you made a switch to electric from, as of yet, on the facilities here, the government facilities?
Mr. President, the answer to that is yes.
Okay. And since those have been completed already, then I'm just going to move to the second point of the governmental aggregation, if you don't mind. What you have there is a handout. And why don't you do a big brief background on me? I've got 12 years in commercial banking, with about 6 of those years in the specializing in energy, and that be oil and gas, solar, working with marketers, electric and natural gas marketers. And in 2010, I started Traybell. It was an online way for people to understand what deregulation is in Ohio, and then be able to choose an alternative supplier for either home or business. And over time, that we just started serving a lot more business, and the company just kept growing. And then I moved into a lot of the government sector. We do work with Genoa Township, Madison Township, the Village of Sunbury. We manage all these various government agencies for their facilities, and just the facilities, and then also more recently on the government aggregation. I'm going to kind of run through this. If anybody, if this is really mundane, just let me know. But As long as you can remember, AEP has always been the supplier of choice. They manage all three pieces on your bill, generation, transmission, distribution. And all three of those charges roll. If you look at your personal or business bill, it's on there. As you can see here, AEP is always generated. They transmit it over those big lines out in the backyard, and then they distribute it from the home office from the local. And so that's how it's always been. Deregulation, which is in Ohio, is now a deregulated state. This applies both to natural gas and electric. And what it allows you to do, and will 2015 force you to do, is to choose a supplier, an alternative supplier. So your alternative supplier will either purchase electric or gas in the secondary market, transmit it to AEP, who then distributes it to your home or office. I'm going to, what is municipal aggregation? Municipal aggregation is nothing more than pulling together the citizens of Heath to form a buying group. Very similar. The concept is fairly straightforward. The more people you have in the group, the bigger the discount. And I will just tell you that that's to diminishing returns, which means at some point you've got such a big group, a number, that the suppliers generally don't go in deeper discounts than they kind of just tap out. But and effectively, the program that I've had a lot of success with everybody is the opt-out program. And what that is every person in your community we negotiate a rate for or discount, and they would be automatically included in this group, unless of course they voluntarily say, hey, I don't want to be part of it. I'd like to opt out of the program and not take part in that. In order to do this, we need to put this on the November ballot. That's the first step. Well, I'd like to tell you that it's your decision as council members. Ultimately, it's up to the to the members of the city constituents, and they would vote on it first. And we just took 3 different townships through that process in May. We got all 3 of them to pass the vote, and they passed it by a lot due to, I think, our educational plan that I'll tell you about here in just a moment. But it was really quite successful. Heath City is a demographically 10,000 population, 10,000 people, 4,100 households, median income of 43,000. The Ohio median is 47, almost 48,000, so a little bit under that. And if you took the 4,100 households, multiply it by 10,500, which is your average kilowatts per hour per year that any household would have, it would amount to 43 million kilowatt hours collectively as a city. And if you take that a step further and multiply that by the average rate of 8 cents per kilowatt hour, just by saving your community 10%, we were able to negotiate a 10% discount off that rate. It would put $349,000 back in your community. Collectively. What it really means for each household is about $150 to $220 a year in savings for their electric usage. And so by doing the buying power, you have different options for your community, and you would be effectively negotiating that for them, whether it be a % off, guaranteed % off, or a fixed rate. The program, if you do go a guaranteed % off, it is guaranteed. The lower rates that we would be looking at are lower than anything that people can get on their own. So many people have always said, well, they can already go do this on their own, but you will never get to the level of discount that you can get having put together this program. Terms and conditions are better, benefits the entire community. It is voluntary to take part in this, provides more choice, and there is no cost to the city. My opinion that I get income from comes directly from the suppliers. If any of you have an insurance agency, it's very similar to that, or can relate to that. Your insurance agent gets paid from the insurance companies. I'm going to go here to fun facts real quick. Just kind of, I'm not going to go all over all of them, but basically, 20.4% of all AEP residential customers have chosen an alternative supplier to date. That's not very many. And when I go and I ask your constituents who I've been to a ton of these meetings, I say, why have you switched? And the number one answer is always, I don't understand deregulation, and I don't understand all my options. I get all this stuff in the mail, I get all these phone calls, and I just don't get it, so I don't do anything. That's the number one reason. If you put together a program for your community, 83% on average, 83% of all the members will join the program. 83. Very large group. The Village of Sunbury, which we just finished, had a 92% participation rate. And the reason is because of our educational program. That's, for me, the most important piece of this whole process. Going into the vote is just making sure that your community members understand this process. What is deregulation? What does it mean for me? What are the benefits? And how do we get involved? There's no need for the participants to be energy experts. The aggregation offers your participants the easiest way to save money through a fully vetted program, vetted by its local officials. Goes through all that. There are other pieces in here. Election results. I just went ahead and did this. People kept saying, I'm not sure if it's right for our group. 322 of these have been on the ballot, not including May of this year, because I didn't get that information in here yet, but 88% of all of them pass. We've got 100% pass rating with my group. You'll find in your packet at the very end there's an article about AEP removing the generation assets, meaning the coal plants, from AEP, the utility, into another group. They got federal approval to do that. You'll find another article in there. It's basically the PUCO's website, letting you know that in 2015, all the electric will be supplied by an alternative supplier, 100%. And so what does that mean? AEP is not going to be your supplier. All they're going to do is manage the infrastructure going forward. They're going to maintain the lines, make sure it's reliable, and keep that up. And then your last piece is from the Dispatch. It's a nice article, just talks about how AEP's rates in particular, which for this group lays in, AEP's rates are the highest in the state right now. And they just went up again in April. So if you haven't made a switch, you will see an increase in April. That would be your May bill. You would see that increase. So I've said a lot here, and I apologize. Can I just want to get some feedback, maybe some questions, and then maybe learn a little bit more about it.
Anybody have a lot to kind of take in a short period of time? Our mayor's not here tonight, he's on vacation and stuff, and usually, and this kind of stuff, normally we'd probably go through him and some of the heads and things like that.
Typically, I'd like to run that process through maybe a city administrator first. The decision-making process, if you decide that this is something that you'd like to entertain for your community, August 7th is your deadline for filing the ballot question to put it on for your November election. So I'm glad I was able to talk with all of you this evening. I appreciate that. Just to give you a little background, the Village of Sunbury, we just got their program up and running. We've done, right now in the middle of doing 3 other programs for 3 different townships. We did a total of 15,000 households at the May election and educated their communities. We take care of educating that from the start to finish, and being able to really bring their community up to speed on how this works. If you look on the PUCO website right now, the highest discount you can get that's guaranteed is at 10%. The best rate, I think now moved up at about 6 1/4 cents fixed, if you want to go that route. If you look at the programs that we put together, we've negotiated in one community a 15% discount, and another community 20% discount. It was a fairly large, a little bit larger community, but nonetheless, these are things that you could never do on your own, and certainly it benefits your community by being able to save them money as a whole. Again, going back to this, in 2015, all of you will look at your bill in 2015, and you will be forced placed with a supplier because of an auction process, through the deregulation process. This gives you the opportunity to look at this on your own I guess the final thing I'll throw at you here. My company's putting together the first of its kind, I think, in the AEP market, a purchasing group. If you would choose to be a part of that, what it allows you to do is be part of this group. It's about 11 different agencies, I think, are going to partake in it at this point. 15 to 20,000 households. It should result in an extremely good discount for all the communities. Each one of you would have your own contract. And lastly, I'll just kind of close with our legal counsel that we've been using is a friend of mine that was once running the public utilities of Ohio. She was the chief of staff there. So I can assure you we've got really good counsel. It's going to be a very smooth program. It will go very, very smooth. Worked with a number of different county attorneys for other different programs. So we've vetted this process a lot. We know it well.
I got a couple questions. In Heath, we have, you mentioned AEP, but some of the citizens have the energy cooperative that supplies them with electricity.
Sure.
Okay, how does this affect them? I mean, if they were gonna vote, do they vote or not vote if it doesn't affect them?
Yeah, so a great example of that was Madison Township. I think it was South Central Power in their area. They had 8,800 members. Not all of them were in AEP. Some of them were in South Central Power. Everyone got to vote for the initiative, but yet we still had to communicate that you're with the community cooperative. This is what a cooperative is. This is why the opportunities in here for you. However, the message to them was, your neighbor is on the AEP. If you allow them to at least have the opportunity for council to go out and look at programs, and it worked. We had a 60% pass rate.
The other question I had was, if there are people out there already that have signed up with a different supplier or whatever, how does this affect that one way or the other?
Yeah, so that's another great question. Those people will end up, we would never take them out of contract. When we get the data from the AEP to send out the out letters to everybody, to have them take a look at it, we don't even get those people who already switched. They're pulled from the data, and that way they can never get, they're disrupting their service. Now, what I get the question from people all the time, Scott, I want to in on your program because it's way better than what I'm getting now. How do I get in? Well, send me your contracts. I can read it and I'll let you know. If it's $50 to $100, $200 early termination fee, I tell them to stay put, wait till the contract expires, and then we'll let them in at that point. So they can join usually mid-speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a couple questions. First was, do you lock in for a year at a time, the rate, the discount?
Yes, I do. And we don't go beyond a year at a time. You will find a lot of suppliers, other suppliers directly who will talk to you, and brokers would want you to lock into a longer period of time. Think about what's happening in this market. We're going to an annual auction. Why would you ever go beyond that auction period unless we're in a prolonged period of rising rate environment? And until we're out of a recession, and I see we've got this plethora of natural gas holding prices down also because they do work with each other. Those would be the two things that would really make you then think about it a little bit more. But for now, very short period of time. Yes.
Okay, and then does it work sort of like an open enrollment period with your insurance where each year annually you make a decision to opt in or opt out?
Correct.
Okay.
And one last comment on that though, because this is important. You get an automatic, I have to give you by law an automatic 21 days annually to look at opting out.
Okay.
However, in part of this buying group, I fully anticipate there to be no early termination fee. What does no early termination fee effectively mean? You can leave whenever you want. There's no risk to your constituents, none. I can leave, I'm not affected financially, and so the opt-out period is every single day for a year. Yeah.
Any other questions on council? Did any of the department heads have any questions?
I guess maybe I have a quick question. We have an AEP facility in Heath. And I guess by doing this, does that what is their feeling about, I mean, we have employees.
Yeah,
and so forth. What is their feeling towards this deregulation? They're strictly, you see them getting out of the
Generation business.
generation business altogether eventually someday. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, if you look at the pieces in the back of that, you will see, from the PUCO that they are forced to do this. I'm gonna be blunt about it. I mean, AEP was not pleased with this. Ohio Edison up north embraced it completely. Duke, DPNL, kind of sitting on the, one way or the other. At the end of the day, this has been decided by Ohio legislature, and it's done, and it's gonna happen fully deregulated. We are in what we call a transition period right now, which is why if you look on your bills, your home bills, you'll see, there's a rider, I apologize, I just blanked on it. There's a rider, a transition rider, and that's them being compensated for us to get to that period in 2015. So we're paying for it already. It's happening whether we want it or not. But I will tell you, if your next thought is, oh, hey, are they gonna not give us as good a service? They're gonna give you as good a service. It would be illegal for them to do that, and B, their name going forward with their shareholders, et cetera, they still have a name to stand behind, and they're gonna take care of their business, and they're getting compensated, et cetera, et cetera. This isn't the only town or city too that has, I mean, AEP's everywhere, right? This isn't the only one that's had it legal.
Does this apply to commercial customers in the city of Heath as well?
It will, small commercial. Large commercial, above 750,000 kilowatts and above, have, they typically are a little more savvy on their own, so they do their own thing. But to give you an idea, two of the programs we had also gave the commercial customers, like any shop, Subway or whatever down here, a 15% off discount. The other one had a 34% discount on the commercial side. Really strong. It's nice.
I guess one last question I had, I thought maybe you might raise it. Is there, you said we'd have to do it by August 7th. Is there legislation or boilerplate kind of information that you transmit to law directors so we have the right stuff to do that?
David, I've got a full resolution package that I just try to make it as simple as possible. It's all been vetted by prosecutors, et cetera. So
Secretary of State's looked at it, I see.
what's that?
The Ohio Secretary of State's looked at it, because they have to approve all the ballot language eventually.
Yeah, the ballot language is the same throughout the state, so all my language is taken, as far as the ballot goes, that's standard ballot language. But the ordinance, I should say, not the resolution, but the ordinance for the city is all standard documents. Ours is probably overkill because of thanks to Delaware County.
I guess it's a lot to take in, so we'll have to digest it a little bit.
I totally understand, and, I didn't expect an answer tonight. Just be mindful, we do have 45 days. If you would appoint me somebody to communicate with, I will do that again. I will be out here next month, next week, whatever you need. I'll send some preliminary documents, to Mr. Morrison here if you'd like to review, and then if you guys decide that you want to move forward, I'll be here to answer any questions you like.
Well, I think the mayor ought to.
The mayor dealt with this issue once before,
Okay.
and I don't recall the reasons that he stopped the process, but I know that he looked into this electric aggregation and so forth, and I believe he'll have a better retention of why he chose not to move forward and why not, but I would think this should land back in the mayor's office.
I'm more than happy to set up the time to sit with you for 10 minutes. I mean, a lot has changed in the last year or two because of the regulations, and I think you probably might see that it's a little different environment now than it was back in the day.
Yeah, I'd urge you to try to get on his calendar.
Okay, thank you.
Like I said, he's on vacation this week, so.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Is there anybody that you could appoint me to that I can speak with, other than we just go right to the mayor then, when it comes time?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure who else, I mean,
This is a exercise in administration,
Yeah.
and then she go to the mayor.
Yeah, I'll contact her office then. I'm gonna get your card up here.
Okay.
Don't mind it.
Yeah. you want to-
Okay, thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
All right, okay. Any other visitors?
Of course.
Seeing none? Oh.
Becky Goodwin, 1611 Hebron Road. First of all, Mr. President, thank you for allowing me a miscellaneous second chance necessary. I appreciate it. I want to come back on the same thing about our minutes, and hopefully, I'm not going to raise my voice, I just want to improve my argument a little bit. I feel that you are elected, the 7 of you are elected to do our city business. And as a citizen, I'm entitled to look at those minutes when you're done or after the meeting, when they're ready. I guess that's 2 weeks later. I feel that we should get more meat in our minutes. And if you remember the little lady on Wendy's that says, "Where's the beef?" I wonder, where's the meat? Minutes explaining all topics. I have a copy of April 15th minutes in front of me. And that particular time, there were several visitors from the Shea House here. That's the night I didn't get to speak, but I was going to, but what eludes me is the fact that I'm standing there holding these minutes and nothing that they said is in the minutes. Not one word. I'm sorry, but I think that's stifling their voice. This is our right to come here and speak our mind, our opinion, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I feel these people got cheated. I think they'll be back. So I just want to say this, I have nothing against anybody here. I just think we need to do better. I think this needs to be improved. And I'm gonna keep pounding on it until something changes. But here's my other issue. And Mr. Morrison, I might ask you if you can follow on this and answer at a later time even, whatever works. But if we're recording what I'm saying here right now, and we're not keeping that recording, we have nothing to show what anybody said here, other than this little piece of paper that is now an outline. Because to me, these are text boxes. Dwayne and I work in text boxes with our signs, so this to me is like a text box. There's only enough room to put so much in it. Again, I think we should get more. That's why I do what I'm doing. Granted, I'm not advertising it anywhere. You guys know it. I tell certain people about it. I'm not advertising it. Whoever gets on their looks, it's their prerogative. But I can tell you, Heath is now a search word on YouTube. So I just want you to think about it a little bit harder.
Heath is now what?
A search word on Google or on YouTube. When you put in the word Heath, things pop up that have Heath in them. I forget how many videos are on there now. There are several that are going up, and honestly, I'm just doing it to have something to look back at, to keep track of what's going on. Because I have looked back at our history. I've been going through the police history. I've been in the big scrapbook that we have back there, trying to find things about our minutes. And I found some old minutes in the police history that basically had a lot more information in them. And it was just one piece. So, again, I asked you to look at our transparency. This is the only entitlement we have as a citizen to see these minutes, to see what happens here. Nick and I might know because we've sat through it and we can understand the outline. Common person is not. Anyone that's not coming here is not gonna understand these. That's what I'm asking for, is you to all look at that a little bit better. See if you can. I hear it's your job, Mr. Kelly, to construct how things are done here, so I'm asking you and the Sixth Council to let us have more information in this particular document. This is our document. Now, almost 4 years ago, I don't know how much time you all spent gathering all that information for us, but it costs a nickel a page for us to come down here and request information. Now, I walked down here $63 later. I don't know how many hours it took you all to put that together, but I know Jenna was running around everywhere. So I'm just saying, if this stuff is a little bit more complete and online, we wouldn't be in the office and we wouldn't have to worry about putting paper and ink in the machine because we'd be doing it at home and doing it on our time. So, again, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I still feel we can improve this. So, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any other visitors to speak? Seeing none. Move on to committee reports, finance and budget. In the absence of Mr. Crable, we'll call on Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met this evening at 6:23. We had 4 legislative requests on the agenda. The first was to appropriate $5,688 to buy new pistols for the police department. The second legislative request was to appropriate $800 donation from the Marathon Company to fire capital outlay. Third legislative request was to appropriate $680 from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund to send Lieutenant Mason to the CLIA conference. And the fourth legislative request was to appropriate $2,500 to the street fund for street signs to complete that project. Under other items, Auditor Alexander provided us with an update on this year's audit, which is being performed by Wilson, Shannon, and Snow. We've had no findings for recovery, but one finding relative to the city's fixed asset system, and they're in the process of discussing 2 non-compliance issues and evaluating 5 suggestions. As in past years, the auditor gave council and the finance committee the option of having Jason Carr from Wilson, Shannon, and Snow to meet with us at one of our meetings to explain the findings, or we would be able to have the information presented to us by the auditor. We chose to have the auditor present the information, and President Kelly signed to waive that option. Yes, that's it. So, did you have anything to add, Auditor?
Nothing to add.
Did you have anything to add, perhaps, Commissioner Geller? No. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public Services, Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next meeting of the Heath Public Service will be next Monday, June 24th, here in City Hall. Anything else, Mr. Geller?
I have one employee recognized, Dan Stofan, has 5 years, with the city of Heath at our wastewater facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Public Safety, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public safety met on June 10th at 5:30 p.m. We began the fire. For the base statistics, there were a total of 38 fire runs with a year-to-date total of 170. There were 158 EMS runs with a year-to-date total of 816. And there were 81 transports with a year-to-date total of 453. For the mutual aid given, there was a total of 57. 18 of those were fire, 39 were EMS, and they were given to the city of Newark at a total of 44, Hebron at a total of 2, Buckeye Lake at a total of 3, and there's another one here, a total of 5. Chief, did you sneak in? No. Okay. I'm not sure who the SC is at five, but there was five division.
Fire.
Fire. Under mutual aid received, there are a total of 15, 12 of them being fire and 3 from EMS. There were 12 given from Newark, 4 from Even, and 1 from EVAC. Under legislative request, the chief had asked that we move a donation from Marathon Oil, was a total of $800 from the general fund to the fire department. On a monthly expense report, May 2013 wages were $97,097.68. There were 3 days in that period, with an overtime total of $19,692.70. Under equipment, Tower 10 is in need of repairs, and Engine 2 has problems that need repaired on the exhaust system. Under training, they discussed some training and tour they did at the Marathon facility in Heath. Under old business, the chief hit on the fire levy, possibly replace one of the trucks. There's nothing under new business. And mayor spoke about the meeting regarding the possibility of a fire district. The mayor proposed a resolution that states the city of Heath is interested in forming a committee to do a feasibility study. And the second resolution would be a resolution to apply for a government litigation fund grant to pay for that study. With that, we adjourned to 5:49 and moved on to police. Under police statistics, call for service 1,516. There were 185 offense reports, 57 arrests, 29 accidents, and 80 citations. Under overtime for May 2013, there's a total of $16,709 with a year-to-date total of $48,594. Under false alarm reports, there was a total of 37, 35 of them being commercial and 2 being residential. Under legislative requests, the chief had requested to appropriate within the law enforcement trust fund $680 to send the 2 Mason to the 2013 Clay Conference held in Columbus, Ohio. The second request was to appropriate within the law enforcement trust fund $5,688 to purchase 27 Glock Model 22 pistols to 5 Glock Model 27 pistols to replace upgrade or current inventory. The total cost to repair those guns was $4,739. So essentially, we're getting those new pistols for $949 more than what it cost to repair the old ones. The mayor did ask the chief about Senate Bill 7. Chief confirmed that it should pass around the end of July. This bill would essentially outlaw the internet cafes. Chief, am I incorrect by that, or is that the correct statement?
No, that's not totally correct.
I figured, that's why I did.
Senate Bill 7 is, well, when it takes effect in September, calls the establishments to give out a prize of no more than $10 value instead of cash. It's much like the skill games.
Okay. Thank you for correcting. All right, well, with that, we adjourned at 6:08. Chief Shepherd, do you have anything to add?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Streets and drainage, Mr. Hufford.
Thank you, Mr. President. The streets and drainage met this evening at 5:30. Street Superintendent Bob Geller gave his report. There were several items on the agenda. First item, paving the streets will start with the mowing, and it'll take a couple of days. It will start on July the 9th, and they will start the paving. They also will have a meeting prior to doing Willow Ridge to go over some of the extra things that have to be done there. Second item, spraying of weeds and weeding and guardrails, still a man down, and hoping to get from there and see if we can't do something about that. Mowing is that they're getting caught up on the mowing. Third item on the agenda is the meeting, talking about the flowers. Bob said that we have 3 items there that maybe in the future, maybe next year or something, we can maybe go with some spring and some annuals in there. And maybe we could do like he showed how Indianapolis has over 600 islands, and they have an adopt an island program. I think we could go with something like that. Bids will be opened on the medium 20th, or Bob was talking about, how the, signs were put up and, in, the way that it was, put out by Joe Henderson. And the guys didn't quite follow that, so we came up with, some signs short, and, he would like to, under a legislative request, appropriate $2,500 to, finish the job like it should be done. This was passed on to the finance committee. Mosquito, fifth item, the mosquito spraying, will be on Tuesday and Friday evening, and we're gonna start after 11 p.m. And, this is on the website for people to see, where they're going to be spraying. Under other items, I brought up the, possibility of checking into the property right next to the, street department property. See if, maybe there's, some way we might put this, piece of property to use as for sale, and, maybe Bob said he would check into that. Nothing else to report, we adjourned at 6:06 p.m. Bob, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, Dave Pennington is celebrating his 29th year with the city of Heath. And also a comment that I've never heard or seen Chief Huggins sneak in anywhere.
Okay, that's all.
That's all I see.
Community development and zoning, Mr. Henry.
Our next meeting will be July 1st, 2013. You have anything, Mr. Ross?
Any comment will be there,
Thank you. Parks and Recreation and David Shea, Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shea met this evening at 6:06. First item on the agenda was the Star Spangled celebration at Geller Park, and Director Geller reported they've been getting the park ready for the event and things are looking good. Second item was repairing the fence at Geller Park. The storms took some of the fencing down, approximately 600 square feet, and he said that we would need to replace that probably this year or next year at a cost of approximately $5,000 to $10,000. No rush at this point, but it will have to be done at some point. He also reported that we, with the Nature Works grant, we will be starting to tear down the old structure and replace the playground equipment sometime in August. The third item on the agenda was pool repairs and expenses. He reported we replaced spray ground heaters, fixed the trash fence, and painted inside bathhouses, done some striping, landscaping, and some work on chlorine tanks, and also reported that attendance has been down a little due to the weather. Item number 4, Bob will be on vacation from June 24th to June 28th, so everyone call him on his cell phone. We'll print that on the website. Item 5, under other items, we did receive the insurance money from the storm last summer, and we placed a door, umbrellas, a tree, the shade shelter, plus received $21,000 for lost revenue for that time period. Did you have anything to add, Bob?
Nothing, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Planning Commission, since Mr. Crable's not here and the mayor's not here, I'm gonna call Mr. Groff to talk about Planning Commission.
Next planning commission will be June 27th and 7th.
Okay, thank you. That's all the committees. Brings us to the introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 48, 2013.
Ordinance 48, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $415,825.96, $78,064.80 within the $5 municipal license tax fund, and $337,761.16 within the municipal license tax fund, authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Spires Paving Company for 2013 paving of streets located within the city of Heath according to bids received.
Mr. President,
Mr. Effort.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of ordinance 48, 2013.
Second.
A motion, a second to waive. Roll call.
Heffley?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. Motion to waive has been approved.
Mr. President, Mr. Effort, I would like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 48, 2013.
Second.
A motion, a second to adopt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Hess,
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Ordinance 48, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 49, 2013.
Ordinance 49, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $5,688 within the law enforcement trust fund capital outlay. Purchase 27 Glock Model 22 pistols and 5 Glock Model 27 pistols. Replace and upgrade the current inventory of the police department.
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I make a motion that we waive the second reading for ordinance 49, 2013.
Second. I have a motion and a second to waive, roll call.
Hess,
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Motion to waive has been approved.
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 49, 2013.
Second. A motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Hess,
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Ordinance 49, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 50, 2013.
Ordinance 50, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation and transfer of $4,100 from zoning services to zoning capital outlay to purchase 3 new computers.
Ordinance 50, 2013 be held to a second reading. Ordinance 51, 2013.
Ordinance 51, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $2,500 from the general fund of services to cover costs associated with tree maintenance.
Ordinance 51, 2013 be held to a second reading. Ordinance 52, 2013.
Ordinance 52, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $800 within the general fund to fire capital outlay, marathon petroleum donation.
Ordinance 52, 2013 be held to a second reading. Ordinance 53, 2013.
Ordinance 53, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $680 within the law enforcement trust fund for services, Assembly Lieutenant Mason for the employee of Conklin.
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I make a motion that we waive ordinance, the second reading of ordinance 53, 2013.
Second. Have a motion and a second to waive, roll call.
Hesley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Motion to waive has been approved.
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 53, 2013.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Hesley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Ordinance 53, 2013 has been adopted. All right, that's all the ordinances on the first. We have ordinances on second reading, ordinance 46, 2013.
Ordinance 46, 2013, an ordinance authorizing the appropriation of $11,487 within the pool fund, $9,050 to capital outlay, $1,487 to services, $950 to materials and supplies.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance 46, 2013.
A motion and a second to adopt ordinance 46, 2013. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Heffley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Ordinance 46, 2013 has been adopted. Ordinance 47, 2013.
Ordinance 47, 2013, an ordinance waiving bids, authorizing and directing the mayor to allow the sale for the city of East Old Street signs for $25 each.
Mr. President,
Mr. Efford.
make a motion we adopt ordinance 47, 2013.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 47, 2013. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Heffley.
Yes.
Henry.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Ordinance 47, 2013 has been adopted. All right. Resolutions on the first reading, resolution 2013-3.
Resolution 2013-3, a resolution authorizing the mayor to study the feasibility of creating a joint fire and ambulance district.
That'll be held to the second reading. Resolution 2013-4.
Resolution 2013-4, a resolution authorizing the mayor to apply to the Ohio Local Government Innovation Fund for funds to study the feasibility of creating a joint fire and ambulance district.
Resolution 2013-4 will also be held to the second reading. Resolutions on second reading, there are none. Brings us reports of city officials. Mayor Johnson here tonight, so we'll move on to Auditor Alexander.
I have no report, sir.
Thank you. Auditor Morrison.
I have no report either.
Thank you. Mr. Bentley, you want to go first, all right?
Thank you, Mr. President, welcome to the guests. Congratulations, I think they're in order, we mentioned in the meeting, tonight, Craig White, working pretty hard on the, approvals, doing a nice job, and, John, the second name, James, was here for 5 years.
Stofan, Dan Stofan.
Okay. Congratulations on that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Mrs. Bolt.
Thank you, Mr. President, just welcome to everyone.
Mr. Henry.
Welcome everyone, and I too would like to make a little record that we should recognize Craig White and Heath Alexander for doing jobs above their requirements.
Thank you. Then do you have anything tonight? Moving down to, Mr. Shepherd.
No, sir. I don't have anything.
Unless Debbie did want to start.
I'm not going to.
Mr. Groff.
Nothing, thank you.
Bob Geller.
Nothing, thank you.
Kim Geller. Tom Geller.
Nothing.
First of all, I want to say that Deb, you jinxed us tonight when you said it'd be an early night because don't do that again. But the next thing I want to bring up is under visitor section. When someone like that gets up to speak something like that, really that should be done probably in committee, not necessarily here. I mean, I want to hear public concerns and stuff like that, but that was more of a presentation that should be referred. So just get the feel of council, like in the future, someone does that. We need to give them like 5 minutes to give an overview and say, but come to community development meeting or come to public services or something, other meeting to actually get to meet some things like that. Because then we can ask more questions and get into it better than this forum allows us. So
Actually, we overstepped our bounds by asking questions.
well, I know there wasn't much going on, but you know, it's kind of freelancing there a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, it just,
Tonight, other stuff too.
others done something like, you know, but it's just like, here going forward, because my question is, this guy does this, how many other companies are there that does the same thing, that if we would decide to do this, they may want to come in and, negotiate a rate or something, I don't know anything about it, but that's the only thing that I worried about, is we're gonna get 20 or 30 people start coming in here every meeting and saying, I got an idea to do this, you know. I hope you said, well, next time that's. And then the other thing I forgot to say is, the reason I started Mr. Heffley down there, he has a birthday on June 28th. So he was a birthday boy, that's why I start that in. I think that's it. So brings us to new business, none, reading of bids,
None.
miscellaneous, none, adjournment. Motion second, adjourn, all in favor, say aye. It's really a presentation. Yeah, I got it.
All right, Bob, have a good meeting.
No,